Poor young boy came to sell art in place of his sick mother. The billionaire found out and was shocked. The rain was pounding against the windows. It was 11:30 at night, and Victoria Chin was about to discover something that would change everything. Victoria was worth over $2 billion. She owned 12 luxury art galleries across the country. Her clients were the ultra-wealthy, tech moguls, oil executives, foreign royalty, people who thought nothing of spending $50 million on a single painting. But tonight was different. Victoria's heels clicked against the marble floors of her flagship gallery. She was doing her final walkthrough, making sure everything was perfect for tomorrow's exclusive auction. She checked her $30,000 watch. Her investment portfolios had gained another $2 million just that day. Her private jet was ready to take her to New York tomorrow, then to her villa in Tuscany for the weekend. This was her life. Luxury, perfection, control. But then she heard something that made her freeze. A small voice, barely above a whisper, coming from near the back exit. "Please don't cry, Emma. I sold 3 more drawings today. That's $15. Almost enough for Mama's medicine this week." Victoria's heart started racing. That sounded like a young child. But what would a child be doing in her billion-dollar gallery at midnight? She moved quietly toward the sound, her $5,000 handbag clutched in her hands. And what she saw next, it shattered everything she thought she knew about the world. There on the cold floor sat a little boy, no older than 8. Next to him was a girl who couldn't have been more than 5. Spread around them were dozens of hand-drawn pictures, crayon sketches of flowers, animals, rainbows. The boy's clothes were way too big for him, hand-me-downs that had seen better days. His sister wore a thin jacket that probably cost less than Victoria spent on lunch. They had art supplies scattered around them, broken crayons, wrinkled paper, pencils worn down to stubs. For someone who routinely spent $100,000 on dinner parties, this was a complete shock. "Who are you?" Victoria's voice came out sharper than she meant. Both children jumped to their feet. Fear filled their eyes. The boy immediately stepped in front of his sister, protecting her with his small body. "Please don't call the police, lady," he whispered. His voice was shaking. "We weren't stealing anything. I was just trying to stay warm while I finished these drawings. People buy them during the day for bus money." Victoria's expensive bag slipped from her fingers, hit the floor with a loud thud. This child was here alone at midnight, creating art to sell on the streets, while caring for his baby sister. The contrast was staggering. Victoria had spent more on her shoes than this family probably saw in months. "Where are your parents?" she asked, trying to soften her voice. "Mama's in the hospital," the little girl said. She wiped her nose with the back of her hand. "She's been sick for weeks, but the medicine costs too much money. So Alex draws pictures and sells them to help." The gallery suddenly felt too small, too warm. Victoria loosened her $15,000 scarf. She stared at these 2 brave children who were sacrificing everything to help their mother. In her world of billionaire galas and charity auctions, she'd never encountered sacrifice this genuine. "What are your names?" she managed to ask. "I'm Alex," said the boy, still shielding his sister. "This is Emma. I'm 8, and she just turned 5 last month." "And your mother's name?" "Maria Santos Alexandrovna. She used to clean offices downtown, but when she got sick, she couldn't work anymore. The hospital bills." His voice trailed off. He looked at his pile of drawings. And that's when it hit Victoria. She'd seen those drawings before. For weeks, she'd been driven past in her luxury vehicles, rushing between her business empires, and she'd noticed this same little boy on the corner near her gallery. He'd been holding up colorful pictures, asking people if they wanted to buy artwork. She'd always been too busy, too focused on her next billion-dollar deal. Now she was meeting the artist face to face, and he was doing work that would challenge most adults while caring for his baby sister, all to afford medicine for his dying mother. Alex, you and Emma shouldn't be here alone. It's not safe. But I need to finish these drawings, Alex said. He gestured to his artwork. The man at the pharmacy said if Mama doesn't get her medicine soon, she might have to stay in the hospital longer. And if she stays longer, the bills will get bigger, when we won't be able to pay for food. Something cracked inside Victoria's chest. She'd built her billion-dollar empire from nothing, working her way up from a small-town art teacher to one of the world's most powerful art dealers. But looking at Alex and Emma, it brought back memories of her own childhood. The nights when her immigrant parents worked multiple jobs just to keep food on the table. The fear of medical bills they couldn't afford. The way poverty made children grow up too fast. But this was different. This was worse. How did you get into the gallery? She asked. The door was open, Alex explained. I think someone forgot to lock it when they left. We've been sleeping in doorways since Mama went to the hospital because we can't afford the apartment anymore. This place was warm and dry. The weight of the situation hit Victoria like a physical blow. These children were homeless, sleeping on the streets while their mother fought for her life in a hospital. And here Alex was, creating art, trying to sell it to strangers, to pay for medicine that could save his mother's life. Have you eaten dinner? She asked. Both children shook their heads. We'll eat when we sell enough drawings, Alex said, with the matter-of-fact tone of a child who'd been forced to become an adult too soon. It's almost midnight. When do you usually finish selling for the day? Around 2 in the morning, Emma answered quietly. That's when the bars close and people stop walking around downtown. Victoria's hands clenched into fists. These babies were working until 2 a.m., then trying to find safe places to sleep before starting again the next day. The irony wasn't lost on her. She'd just finished preparing for an auction where a single painting would sell for enough money to solve this family's problems permanently. Yet, here were these children, creating genuine art with more heart and soul than most pieces in her billion-dollar collection. Sit down, she said gently, gesturing to the comfortable chairs in her gallery's VIP viewing area. The same chairs where billionaire clients sat while deciding whether to purchase multi-million-dollar masterpieces. They hesitated, clearly afraid they were in trouble. You're not in trouble, Victoria assured them. I just want to talk. Alex took Emma's hand, led her to the Italian leather chairs that cost more than most people's cars. Victoria walked to her office, returned with bottles of water and crackers she kept for long work nights. Here, eat these while we talk. The children accepted the food gratefully, their small hands shaking as they opened the crackers. Victoria watched them eat with the desperation of children who didn't know where their next meal was coming from. And she made a decision that would change all their lives forever. Alex, I want you to call your mother. We don't have a phone, he said sadly. It got shut off when we couldn't pay the bill. Then we're going to go see her right now. But the drawings aren't finished, Emma protested. We still need money for Mama's medicine. The drawings can wait. Your mother needs to know where you are, and I need to make sure she's okay. Victoria grabbed her coat from the office. Come on, my car is outside. As they walked toward the exit, Alex tugged on Victoria's sleeve. Are you going to turn us over to social services? Victoria looked down at his worried face, felt her heart break a little more. No, sweetheart, I'm going to help you. But as the elevator descended toward the parking garage, Victoria had no idea that this night would lead her not just to help a struggling family, but to discover what really mattered in her world of wealth and artistic prestige. The drive through the city's medical district opened Victoria's eyes to a world she'd forgotten existed. Her luxury sedan felt out of place among the modest cars in the hospital parking lot. She realized how long it had been since she'd been anywhere that wasn't designed for wealthy clientele. Alex and Emma sat quietly in the back seat. Emma clutched one of her brother's drawings. Alex stared out the window with the serious expression of a child carrying too much responsibility. Is Mama going to be angry that we left our sleeping spot? Emma whispered to her brother. Mama's going to be happy we're safe, Alex replied, but Victoria could hear the uncertainty in his voice. The children's hospital was a maze of corridors and elevators, but Alex navigated it like he'd been there many times before. Victoria followed them through the pediatric ward, past rooms filled with sick children and worried families, until they reached room 314. Through the small window in the door, Victoria saw a young woman lying in the hospital bed, connected to various machines in 4 lines. Even sick and exhausted, she was beautiful in a way that took Victoria's breath away. Her long black hair was spread across the pillow. Her face held the kind of strength that only comes from facing impossible challenges with grace. Mama, Alex called softly as they entered the room. Maria Santos opened her eyes, immediately tried to sit up when she saw her children. Alex, Emma, what are you doing here so late? You should be sleeping. We brought someone with us, Mama, Emma said, looking back at Victoria, who suddenly felt like an intruder in this intimate family moment. Maria's eyes widened when she saw Victoria's expensive clothes and jewelry. Who is this? She asked, her voice hoarse but protective. This is the lady from the art gallery, Alex explained. She found us drawing pictures and said she wanted to help. Victoria stepped forward, feeling more nervous than she had during any high-stakes art negotiation. Miss Santos, I'm Victoria Chin. I own the gallery where your children were working tonight. Maria's face went pale. Working? Alex, what does she mean? Mama, you know I've been selling my drawings to help pay for your medicine, Alex said gently. Tonight we just went inside the warm gallery to finish them. Maria struggled to sit up further, her maternal instincts overriding her physical weakness. I'm so sorry, she said to Victoria. I know they shouldn't have been in your building. I'll pay for any damages. Please don't call the police. Nobody's calling the police, Victoria said firmly. But I need to understand your situation. Your children told me you've been sick and that they're trying to sell artwork to pay for your medication. Maria's eyes filled with tears. I've been trying to handle this on my own. I didn't want anyone to know how bad things had gotten. Alex and Emma are supposed to be staying with my neighbor when I'm here, but Mrs. Patterson is elderly and can't always watch them. So they've been on the streets, Victoria said. Not as a question, but as a statement. Only sometimes, Maria whispered, when Mrs. Patterson has her own doctor appointments, or when it's too crowded in her small apartment. Alex promised me they were staying safe. Victoria looked at Alex, who was holding his sister's hand while they both watched their mother with worried eyes. These children had been protecting their mother from the truth just as much as she'd been trying to protect them. What kind of medication do you need? Victoria asked. Antibiotics for pneumonia that turned into something more serious, Maria explained. The doctors say I need at least 2 more weeks of treatment, But without insurance. She gestured helplessly at the machines surrounding her bed. How much does it cost? Maria hesitated. About $300 per week. More than Alex could ever make selling drawings. But he's been trying so hard. Victoria felt anger rising in her chest, not at Maria or the children, but at a system that forced an 8-year-old boy to become the breadwinner for his family while his mother fought for her life. Miss Santos, when did you last see a financial counselor about payment options? I can't afford a counselor, Maria said with a bitter laugh. I can barely afford the medicine. The hospital has social workers who help with these situations. Have you spoken to anyone about assistance programs? Maria shook her head. I was afraid they'd take my children away if they knew I couldn't provide for them properly. Victoria understood that fear. She'd grown up watching other immigrant families torn apart by systems that were supposed to help them. Maria, can I ask you something? Of course. What did you do before you got sick? I was an art teacher at the elementary school, Maria said, her voice growing stronger. That's where Alex learned to draw. He used to come to my classroom after school and practice while I graded papers. Victoria's heart stopped. You're an art teacher? Was an art teacher. I lost the job when I got sick and had to take too much time off. Teaching positions don't come with good sick leave benefits. The room fell silent except for the beeping of medical machines. Victoria stared at Maria, seeing not just a struggling single mother, but a fellow educator who dedicated her life to nurturing creativity in children. Alex, Victoria said, turning to the boy, can you show me more of your artwork? Alex brightened, carefully pulled a folder from his backpack. I have lots more at home. At Mrs. Patterson's apartment. Victoria examined the drawings with the trained eye of someone who'd spent years evaluating art. What she saw amazed her. These weren't just the scribbles of a child trying to make money. These were genuine artistic expressions with remarkable technical skill for someone so young. Maria, your son has extraordinary talent. He gets it from his mama, Emma said proudly. She teaches him all the best techniques. Victoria looked at Maria with new respect. You've been teaching him while dealing with your own illness? Art has always been our escape, Maria said softly. When things get scary or difficult, we create something beautiful together. It helps us remember that there's still good in the world. As Victoria listened to Maria talk about art, and watched Alex show his sister how to shade a drawing properly, she realized that this family had something her wealthy gallery clients often lacked. Genuine passion for creativity, not just its monetary value. Maria, I want to offer you something. I can't accept charity, Maria said quickly. I need to be able to provide for my children myself. This isn't charity. It's a job offer. Maria looked confused. What kind of job? I need someone to develop and manage children's art programs at my gallery. Someone who understands how to nurture young artistic talent and who can connect with families from all backgrounds. Maria stared at her. You're offering me a job? You don't even know me. I know you're an art teacher who raised a son talented enough to create professional, quality work at age 8. I know you're determined enough to continue teaching even while fighting a serious illness. And I know you've instilled values in your children that most wealthy parents would envy. But I'm not qualified to work at a high-end gallery. You're more qualified than most of the people I work with every day, Victoria said honestly. They know how to sell art, but you know how to create it and inspire others to create it. That's much more valuable. Alex looked up from his drawings. Does this mean we could all stay together? It means your mother would have a good job with health insurance, paid vacation, and a salary that would let your family live comfortably. Maria's eyes filled with tears. Why would you do this for us? You don't owe us anything. Victoria was quiet for a moment, thinking about how to explain something she didn't fully understand herself. Because you and your children reminded me why I fell in love with art in the first place. It wasn't about money or prestige. It was about the way creativity can transform pain into beauty, the way art can give hope to people who feel hopeless. This is too generous. Maria, in the past year, my gallery made enough profit that your new salary would be like me dropping a quarter in a charity box. For you, it's life-changing. For me, it's the first meaningful thing I've done with my success in years. Emma climbed onto the hospital bed next to her mother. Can we say yes, Mama? I want to stop worrying about medicine money. Maria looked at her children, then at Victoria. If I take this job, it has to be because I can do it well, not because you feel sorry for us. I'm not offering it because I feel sorry for you. I'm offering it because you have skills my gallery needs and values I want to learn from. As Victoria left the hospital that night, after ensuring Maria would get the treatment she needed and arranging for temporary housing for the children, she realized that finding Alex and Emma hadn't just helped them. They had helped her remember who she used to be before money and status changed her. Over the next few weeks, Victoria found herself looking forward to her daily check-ins with the Santos family in ways that surprised her. She arranged for Alex and Emma to attend a good school near the gallery, hired tutors to help them catch up academically, and watched Maria slowly regain her strength. But it was the small moments that began to change Victoria's life in unexpected ways. Breakfast conversations in the hospital cafeteria, where Maria shared stories about her students. Art lessons where Alex taught Victoria techniques he'd learned from his mother. Emma's shy smiles when Victoria brought her new coloring books. You don't have to visit us every day, Maria said one afternoon as Victoria arrived with homework help for Alex and art supplies for Emma. I know you must be busy running your gallery. I like coming here, Victoria admitted. Your family is the best part of my day. Maria looked surprised. How can that be true? You have this glamorous life. Important client. Exclusive art shows. I have a successful business, Victoria corrected. But I realized I don't have much of a life. Before I met you and the children, I couldn't remember the last time I'd had a conversation that wasn't about money or prestige. You must have friends, people you care about. Victoria was quiet for a moment. I have business associates and wealthy acquaintances, but I don't have people who ask how I'm feeling or who get excited to see me just because they like spending time with me. Alex and Emma ask about you when you're not here, Maria said softly. Emma drew you a picture yesterday. She wanted to make sure you knew you were part of our family now. The word family sent warmth through Victoria's chest. She'd been so focused on building her career that she'd never seriously considered having children or even close relationships. Maria, can I ask you something personal? Of course. Do you ever regret having children so young? Do you ever wonder what your life would have been like if you'd focused on your career instead? Maria looked through the hospital window at Alex and Emma playing in the children's area. Sometimes I wonder what would be different. But then Alex shows me a new drawing, or Emma learns a new word, and I remember that they're the greatest art I've ever created. Don't you want more for yourself? Financial security? Professional recognition? Independence? I want security for my children, Maria said. But professional recognition? I get that every time Alex successfully teaches Emma a new technique. Or when Emma creates something that makes her proud. And independence? Maria smiled. I learned that real independence isn't about not needing anyone. It's about building relationships with people who choose to support each other. Victoria found herself thinking about Maria's words constantly. She'd spent years believing that success meant not depending on anyone, not needing anything from others. But watching the Santos family, she saw a different kind of strength in their interdependence. When Maria was finally released from the hospital, Victoria helped them move into a comfortable apartment near the gallery. She told herself it was practical. Maria would be starting her new job soon, and the children needed stability. But the truth was, she wanted them close by. "This is really ours?" Emma asked, running through the apartment's 2 bedrooms with excitement. "All ours," Maria confirmed, watching her daughter explore their new home. "And I can put my drawings on the walls?" Alex wanted to know. "You can put your drawings anywhere you want," Victoria said, then paused. "Actually, Alex, I have a proposition for you." "What's a proposition?" "I want to display some of your artwork in my gallery's children's section, not to sell, but to inspire other young artists." Alex's eyes went wide. "My drawings would be in a real art gallery?" "Your drawings would be the centerpiece of our new children's program." Maria looked concerned. "Victoria, you don't have to do that just because you're hiring me." "I'm not doing it because I'm hiring you. I'm doing it because Alex's work deserves to be seen. He has genuine talent that should be nurtured and celebrated." That evening, as Victoria helped the family settle into their new apartment, she found herself reluctant to leave. She kept finding excuses to stay longer. Helping Emma organize her coloring supplies, discussing lesson plans with Maria, reviewing Alex's latest artwork. "You don't have to go back to your empty apartment," Alex said as Victoria finally prepared to leave. "You could stay here. We have a couch." Victoria's throat tightened. "That's very sweet, Alex, but I have my own home." "But don't you get lonely in that big house by yourself?" Emma asked with the innocent directness of a 5-year-old. Victoria looked around the small apartment filled with children's laughter, Maria's gentle humming as she unpacked, and artwork covering every available surface. Then she thought about her own mansion with its pristine rooms and expensive silence. "Sometimes I do get lonely," she admitted. "Then you should come have dinner with us tomorrow," Maria said. "I'm going to cook a real meal in our new kitchen to celebrate." "You don't have to cook for me." "I want to," Maria said, and something in her voice made Victoria look at her more carefully. Their eyes met across the small living room. Victoria felt something shift between them. It wasn't just gratitude in Maria's expression, and it wasn't just kindness in her own feelings. It was the beginning of something deeper, something that both scared and excited her. The next evening, Victoria arrived at the apartment with flowers and wine, feeling more nervous than she had before any high-profile gallery opening. She'd changed clothes 3 times, wanting to look nice but not overdressed for a family dinner. "You brought flowers!" Emma exclaimed when Victoria arrived. "Mama loves flowers." "They're beautiful," Maria said, accepting the bouquet with a smile that made Victoria's heart skip, just like the ones Alex draws. Dinner was simple but delicious. Homemade pasta with fresh vegetables and bread that Maria had baked that afternoon. But what struck Victoria most was the way the family included her in their conversations, asked her opinion on Alex's latest drawings, and made her feel like she belonged. "Victoria," Emma said as they were finishing dessert, "are you going to be our family now?" Victoria nearly choked on her wine. "What do you mean, sweetheart?" "Well, y'all take care of us, and you eat dinner with us. And Mama smiles differently when you're here. So are you going to be like our other mom?" Maria's cheeks turned pink. "Emma, that's not how families work." "It could be," Alex said seriously, "if everyone wanted it to be." Victoria looked at Maria, who was suddenly very interested in clearing the dinner plates. "Alex, Emma, why don't you go get ready for bed while your mom and I clean up the kitchen?" After the children reluctantly went to brush their teeth, Victoria and Maria stood at the sink, washing dishes in charged silence. I'm sorry about what Emma said. Maria finally spoke. She doesn't understand that our situation is complicated. Complicated how? Victoria asked, handing Maria a plate to dry. You're my employer. You've done so much for us already. I don't want you to feel like I expect anything more, or like I'm taking advantage of your kindness. Victoria turned to face Maria fully. What if I told you I want it to be more complicated? Maria's hand stilled on the dish towel. What do you mean? I think about you constantly. I look forward to seeing you and the children more than anything else in my day. I've never felt more like myself than I do when I'm here with your family. Victoria. I know it's crazy. I know we come from different worlds, and I know the timing is terrible. But Maria, I'm falling in love with you. The kitchen fell silent, except for the sound of water dripping from the faucet. Maria stared at Victoria with wide eyes. You can't mean that. Why not? Because I'm a struggling single mother who just got out of the hospital. Because I work for you. Because you could have anyone you want. Someone from your world who understands your life. Victoria stepped closer. I don't want someone from my world. I want someone who makes my world feel worth living in. I want someone who teaches me that success isn't about what you accumulate. It's about what you build with the people you love. And you think that's me? I know that's you. Maria set down the dish towel, looked directly at Victoria. If we do this, everything changes. The job, our friendship, our family dynamic. What if it doesn't work out? What if it does? Maria was quiet for a long moment. My children have been through enough disruption. I can't risk their stability for my own feelings. I would never hurt them. They're part of why I love you, because you raised two incredible human beings while facing impossible challenges. Because you taught Alex that art can be a source of hope, and you taught Emma that families take care of each other. And what about my feelings? Maria asked softly. What about them? What if I told you I've been falling for you too? What if I told you that for the first time in years, I feel like I could trust someone with my heart? Victoria felt tears gathering in her eyes. Then I'd tell you that you can trust me with your heart, with your children, with everything that matters to you. When Maria smiled, Victoria felt like she'd won the lottery and discovered a master artist all at once. And when Maria let her kiss her softly in the kitchen, filled with children's artwork and the sounds of a real family, Victoria knew she was home. 3 months after their first kiss, Victoria was working in her gallery office when Alex knocked on the door with a serious expression. Victoria, can we talk? Just you and me? Of course, buddy. What's on your mind? Alex sat down in the chair across from her desk, looking unusually formal for an 8-year-old. I want to ask you something important. Okay. What is it? Are you going to marry my mama? Victoria's heart raced. That's a very serious question, Alex. Why do you ask? Because Emma and I have been talking, and we think you should. Mama is happier when you're around, and you smile more when you're with us. Plus, we like having you as part of our family. Victoria leaned forward. Alex, what would you think if I did want to marry your mother? I think it would be perfect, Alex said immediately. But I want to make sure you understand something. What's that? If you marry Mama, that means you're promising to take care of all of us forever. Not just when it's easy or fun, but even when Emma has nightmares, or when I get in trouble at school, or when Mama gets sick again. Victoria felt tears in her eyes. This 8-year-old boy was more mature than most adults she knew. Alex, if I marry your mother, I wouldn't just be promising to take care of you. I'd be promising that you're my family. And families stick together no matter what, through good times and difficult times, when things are easy and when they're hard. And you'd really want that? Even the hard parts? Especially the hard parts, Victoria said. Because families don't just share the good times, they help each other through the difficult times. And that's what makes them strong. Alex smiled, the first truly carefree smile Victoria had seen from him. Then I think you should ask her. Do I have your permission? You have mine and Emma's. We already told Mama that we hope you'll be our stepmom officially, not just unofficially. That evening, Victoria found Maria in their apartment. She'd essentially moved in over the past few weeks. Maria was helping Emma with an art project while Alex did homework at the kitchen table. The scene was so perfectly domestic, so exactly what Victoria had never known she wanted, that she almost lost her nerve. Maria, can we talk privately for a few minutes? Of course. Maria kissed Emma's forehead. Keep working on your rainbow, baby. I'll be right back. They walked out onto the apartment's small balcony, where Maria had created a container garden that was thriving under her care. Is everything okay? Maria asked, noting Victoria's nervous expression. Everything is perfect, Victoria said. That's actually what I want to talk to you about. She took Maria's hands in hers, looking into the eyes that had become home to her. Maria, 3 months ago, I thought I had everything I wanted. I thought success meant having the most prestigious gallery, the wealthiest clients, the most expensive everything. Then I found Alex and Emma in my gallery, and my whole definition of success changed. Victoria. I'm not finished, Victoria said gently. You taught me that real success is measured in breakfast conversations and bedtime stories, in the way children light up when they create something beautiful, in the feeling of being truly loved for who you are, not what you own. Maria's eyes were bright with tears. You taught me that love isn't something you fit into your schedule. It's something you build your entire life around. And Maria, I want to build my entire life around loving you and Alex and Emma. Victoria got down on one knee, pulling out a ring box she'd been carrying for weeks. Maria Santos, will you marry me? Will you let me be your wife and Alex and Emma's stepmom? Will you build a real family with me? Maria stared at the ring, then at Victoria's face, tears streaming down her cheeks. Victoria, are you sure? Are you sure you want the chaos and noise and complications that come with being part of our family? I'm sure I want the love and laughter and meaning that come with being part of your family, Victoria replied. Maria, I'd rather have a small, noisy life with you than a large, empty life without you. What about your gallery, your career, your reputation in the art world? My gallery will be better because you're part of it. My career will be more meaningful because it includes helping families like ours. And my reputation? Victoria smiled. I'd rather be known as someone who chose love over status any day. Maria looked toward the apartment where they could see Alex and Emma through the window, both pretending not to watch while clearly invested in the outcome. They already asked me what I'd say if you proposed, Maria admitted. And what did you tell them? I told them I'd say yes to forever with the woman who saved our family and became our family. Is that a yes? That's a yes to everything, Maria said, laughing through her tears as Victoria slipped the ring onto her finger. When they went back inside to tell the children, Alex and Emma erupted in cheers and demanded to see the ring immediately. Does this mean we get to plan a wedding? Emma asked excitedly. It means we get to plan our family's beginning, Victoria said, pulling them all into a group hug. 6 months later, Victoria stood in the garden behind their new family home. They'd moved to a house with enough space for everyone, and a large studio where Maria could teach and Alex could create. She was watching the final preparations for their wedding. The ceremony would be small and intimate, held in the same garden where Alex and Emma now played every afternoon. Maria's former students had sent artwork to decorate the space, and Victoria's gallery had provided flowers from local artists who had become friends rather than just business contacts. Getting nervous? Her assistant James asked, finding Victoria reviewing the seating arrangements for the 10th time. Not nervous, Victoria replied. Grateful. Grateful? A year ago, I measured my worth by my profit margins and client list. Today, I'm marrying the love of my life and officially becoming a mother to two incredible children. I'm grateful that life had better plans for me than I had for myself. The truth was, life after leaving the prestigious art world had been even more fulfilling than Victoria had imagined. Her new gallery focused on emerging artists and community programs rather than wealthy collectors. She made less money but found more meaning in every workday. Places everyone, called Maria's friend Sandra, who was coordinating the ceremony. Victoria took her position at the altar they'd set up under the oak tree, looking out at the small gathering of people who had become their chosen family. Alex and Emma stood beside her as the wedding party, wearing matching outfits and identical excited grins. The music began. Victoria's breath caught as Maria appeared at the end of the garden path. She wore a simple ivory dress that made her look like an angel, her long hair flowing over her shoulders, carrying a bouquet of flowers that Alex and Emma had helped arrange. As she walked toward Victoria, surrounded by the art and love they'd built together, Victoria thought about the conversation she'd had with her former business partner just days earlier. You could come back, he'd offered. The gallery world misses you. You could have your old prestige back, your old client base, your old life. Victoria had looked around their family home, where Maria's students' artwork covered the walls and Alex's latest masterpiece was proudly displayed on the refrigerator, where Emma's coloring books were scattered on the coffee table and family photos filled every available surface. I have something better than my old life, she'd replied. I have my real life. Now, as Maria reached her and took her hands, Victoria knew she'd made the right choice. She'd traded wealth for richness, prestige for purpose, and emptiness for love. Hi, Maria whispered when she reached the altar. Hi, Victoria whispered back, seeing her entire future in Maria's eyes. The ceremony was perfect in its simplicity. They'd written their own vows, promises that spoke of love, commitment, and the family they were officially creating together. Maria, Victoria said when her turn came a year ago, I thought success meant having the most exclusive gallery, the wealthiest clients, the most expensive everything. Then Alex and Emma came into my life and taught me that real success is measured in family dinners and art projects, in bedtime stories and school concerts, in the feeling of being loved for who you are, not what you own. She paused, looking at Alex and Emma before continuing. You didn't just teach me to love. You taught me what love actually means. It's not something you fit around your other priorities. It's the priority you build everything else around. I promise to love you not just in the easy times, but especially in the difficult times. I promise to be the mother Alex and Emma deserve and the wife you've always dreamed of. I promise to choose our family every single day in every decision for the rest of my life. When Maria spoke her vows, her voice was strong and clear. Victoria, when we first met, I was afraid to trust anyone with my heart or my children's hearts. We'd been hurt before by someone who made promises he couldn't keep. But you showed me that real love isn't about grand gestures or perfect circumstances. Real love is about showing up every day, about choosing each other again and again, about building something beautiful together even when it's challenging. She looked at Alex and Emma before continuing. You didn't just fall in love with me. You fell in love with my children, and they fell in love with you. You became our family not because you had to, but because you wanted to. That's the kind of love worth believing in, worth fighting for, worth building a life around. When the minister pronounced them married, Victoria kissed Maria with all the love and gratitude in her heart. The small crowd erupted in cheers, but the loudest voices belonged to Alex and Emma, who were bouncing with excitement. "We're officially a family now," Emma announced to anyone who would listen. "We always were," Alex corrected with wisdom beyond his years. "Now everyone else knows it too." The reception was held in their backyard, with dancing under string lights and dinner prepared by Maria's former colleagues who had become dear friends. Victoria found herself constantly amazed by the joy on everyone's faces, especially her new families. "Mom," Alex said, tugging on Victoria's dress as she danced with Maria. The word mom still made Victoria's heart skip every time he said it. "What is it, sweetheart? Are you happy? Like really, really happy?" Victoria looked around at the scene, Maria laughing as she danced with Emma, their friends and chosen families celebrating together. Alex looking up at her with complete trust and love. This was her life now. This chaos, this love, this beautiful, imperfect, wonderful family. "Alex," she said, pulling him into their dance, "I'm happier than I ever imagined possible." Later that evening, after the guests had gone home and Alex and Emma had finally fallen asleep in their rooms, Victoria and Maria stood in their bedroom looking out over the garden where they'd just promised to love each other forever. "Any regrets?" Maria asked, leaning against Victoria's chest. "Only one," Victoria replied. Maria pulled back to look at her with concern. "What?" "I regret that it took me so long to understand what really matters in life." Maria smiled and kissed her softly. "We found each other at exactly the right time. Any earlier and we might not have been ready. Any later and we might have given up on love altogether. Do you think we'll be happy? Really happy for the long term?" "I think we'll be real," Maria said thoughtfully. "We'll have good days and difficult days, easy times and challenging times. But we'll face all of it together as a family. That's better than happy. That's lasting." As they prepared for bed in the room they would now share every night for the rest of their lives, Victoria reflected on how completely her definition of success had changed. She'd given up prestige and gained purpose. She'd traded wealth for richness. She'd exchanged emptiness for love. "Victoria," Maria said as they turned off the lights. "Hmm? Thank you." "For what?" "For seeing us. For choosing us. For showing Alex and Emma that they deserve to be loved unconditionally. Maria, you and the children are the greatest masterpiece I've ever encountered. Thank you for letting me be part of your beautiful family." The next morning, Victoria woke up to the sound of voices in the hallway outside their bedroom. "Should we wake them up?" "Mom said to let them sleep late because yesterday was their wedding day. But I made them a picture of our family. You can give it to them at breakfast." Victoria smiled, recognizing Emma's excited voice and Alex's responsible one. This was her life now. Children outside her bedroom door. Family breakfast to look forward to. Art projects waiting to be admired. "Good morning, Mrs. Chin," she whispered to Maria, who was just starting to stir. Maria had decided to take Victoria's last name, wanting their whole family to share it. "Good morning, Mrs. Chen," Maria replied with a sleepy smile. As they got dressed and prepared to join their children for breakfast, Victoria thought about the call she'd received from her former gallery partner just last week. "The art world misses you," he'd said. "You could come back, have your old prestige back, your old client list, your old reputation." Victoria had looked around their family home, where Alex's artwork hung proudly on the walls and Emma's coloring books were scattered on every surface, where family photos filled the mantelpiece and love filled every corner. I'm building something better than prestige now, she told him. I'm building a legacy that actually matters. What's that supposed to mean? It means in 50 years, no one will remember my quarterly profits or prestigious client list. But in 50 years, Alex and Emma will still remember that they had a mother who loved them unconditionally, who showed up for every important moment in their lives, who taught them that family comes first. That's the kind of legacy I want to leave. Now, as she heard her children giggling in the kitchen and smelled Maria's coffee brewing, Victoria knew she'd made the right choice. She'd found her real treasure, not gold or prestige or status, but the simple, profound wealth of being truly loved and having a family to love in return. Come on, Mom, Emma's voice called from downstairs. Breakfast is ready. Coming, sweetheart, Victoria called back, taking Maria's hand as they headed downstairs to begin another day as the Chen family. As they walked into the kitchen where Alex and Emma were setting the table with careful precision, where sunlight streamed through windows that now framed a home filled with love and laughter, Victoria realized that some stories don't end with happily ever after. The best stories end with happily ever beginning. Dear wonderful listeners, thank you so much for taking this journey with Victoria, Maria, Alex, and Emma. Their story reminds us that true wealth isn't measured in dollars or prestige, but in the love we share, in the families we build. I'd love to hear from you in the comments. What was your favorite moment in this story? Did you see yourself in any of the characters? Have you ever had to choose between success and love? What do you think makes a family truly rich? If you were in Victoria's position, would you have made the same choice? Was she right to give up her prestigious gallery for love? Or should she have found a way to keep both? Please share your thoughts below. I read every single comment, and your insights always inspire my next story. Also, if this story touched your heart, please hit that subscribe button and the notification bell. It helps me reach more people who need to hear stories about love, family, and what really matters in life. What kind of story would you like to hear next? A story about second chances? About overcoming impossible odds? About finding love in unexpected places? Let me know in the comments. And remember, sometimes the most beautiful masterpieces aren't hanging in galleries. They're living in our homes, playing in our backyards, asking for one more bedtime story. Until next time, keep choosing love, keep building families, and keep believing that the best stories are still being written. With love and gratitude, still they rise.